welcome back to the Movie Trailer Reviews podcast on the MTR Network. This is Kriss here, and once again, I'm being joined. This is two reviews in a row, man.
Two in a row, man.
Being joined by Jax. We are here to review Baywatch. Devoted lifeguard Mitch Buchanan butts heads with a brash new recruit. Together they uncover a local criminal plot that threatens the future of the Bay. This is directed by Seth Gordon, and it stars The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Zac Efron. Who are the chicks?
And a bunch of other motherfuckers.
Right. Hannah Burst is in here for like a hot second. Who is the chick from? She's from. What is that show? I never watched it. It's
the chick that looks kind of black.
She doesn't look kind of black. She doesn't look black at all.
I don't know what she.
I'm talking about the villain in this film. She's from Quantico.
Oh, she's from the show
Quantico. That's what it is. Yeah,
Quantico.
I can't remember her name. She's in this. I mean, yeah. So I'm gonna be full disclosure here. Okay, full disclosure before we get started here. I was never a Baywatch fan.
Never watched an episode of that show in my life.
I never got the attract. Like, no. I understood why people said, because it was Pamela Anderson running around on the beach with her boobies hanging, jumping up and down. That's literally all it was.
Right. It was the guys were watching it for Pamela Anderson, and the girls were watching it for David Hasselhoff. Yes, maybe. I don't know. I guess he was a sex symbol back then.
And none of that was appealing to me at all. So right. I never watched Baywatch. So when they said they were going to remake Baywatch, I was like, man, are you guys serious? Why are you going to do this?
Yo, I don't think I ever met a black person that watched Baywatch. I'm sure it happened, but I don't think black people were checking for Baywatch back when it was on.
Because it was fucking Baywatch. It's like, what the fuck, man? We don't waste time watching Baywatch. Like, I can't remember. I'm trying to think did it come on right? Wasn't that a show that came on like right after like morning cartoon sometimes?
Bruh, I have no idea.
Because I would be pissed when I turn on the TV and Baywatch was. That's how much I wasn't a Baywatch fan. Like, I would turn on TV, Baywatch would be on, and I would be disgusted. That was like one of those shows that your parents didn't want you to watch because it was overly sexualized, and I'd be on some. No, I don't want to watch this shit anyway.
Right. Right.
So when they said they were remaking Baywatch, and even though they said they had Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron, he's actually not bad in most films. I was just like, I don't give a shit, man. I don't give a shit who you put into it. I don't care if you put The Rock in it. I like The Rock. He makes every movie better.
He does.
It's still fucking Baywatch.
You know what made me kind of want to see it, though? I think the fact that when I saw the first trailer, it reminded me kind of what they did with 21 Jump Street, which I never watched 21 Jump Street when I was a kid either. But they figured out a way to make it appealing and hilarious, And I was hoping they would do the same thing with Baywatch.
And yeah, that's exactly what happened, because within the first, because I remember, so you went out to get something to eat,
yeah,
and before the movie started, and the dude next to me was asking me, it's like, yo, hey my man, like how long was the runtime on this film? Do you know? And I was like, man, I'm hoping it's like 90 minutes, man, because I don't got 2 hours to sit through this shit. So I went to my phone, started looking around, and I found out it was 2 hours, and me and him were just basically like, damn, man, 2 hours of this shit? I don't know if I can do that.
That worried me, man. I was like, an hour and 56 minutes already seems about 30 minutes too long.
Right.
At least.
And that's exactly what you said when you came down. I told you the same thing. So the movie starts, and we're just like, God damn it, 2 hours. All right, let's suck it up and do this. I would say within the first 5 minutes.
No, within the first 2 minutes, I was like, "What are we watching? This is ridiculous. This is gonna be fun."
Within the first 2 minutes, I was like, "You know what? They got it. Okay."
Yep.
Because, like you said, and you brought it up, like 21 Jump Street, like again, as someone who didn't really watch Baywatch or give a shit about Baywatch, I think they actually did kind of take that show seriously. There's nothing really.
I don't know. Was it like a soap opera type show? I don't know. I honestly have no idea.
I think it was. Again, I didn't really watch it like that, but nothing about it said that it was like a comedy. Right. This movie is a fucking comedy, and it really is like 21 Jump Street in that it also makes fun of itself so that it's in on the joke. So they're not trying too hard, and when they do try too hard, there's basically a character going, "You're trying too hard." Like, it's just
right.
it actually fucking, like, the entire movie works. And I was not expecting that. Like, and I don't mean this as, hey, you put The Rock in it and we're giving it the Rock bump and that he just made the movie better. And while he does, like, the entire movie is actually...
Everyone, dude.
It's actually a good movie. Like, beyond The Rock, it's actually a good movie. You know, this is not some, like, what was that movie he did? San Andreas, where it's like The Rock versus an earthquake, and the rest of the movie is terrible, but it's still The Rock versus an earthquake, so you're like, fuck it, okay?
Right.
No, like,
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, The Rock actually didn't have to carry the movie.
No, he doesn't. Like,
Zac Efron, I'm not really a big fan of Zac Efron stuff.
Oh, really?
Because I still never forgive him. Well, I do like Neighbors, but I feel like he was in an anime movie that was terrible. I don't remember what it was. I want to say Avatar, but I don't think that was it. But he was in something, maybe Dragon Ball Z. But anyways, yeah, I don't like all of his stuff, but he was good in this and he was good in Neighbors. Hannibal Buress, which we mentioned already, was a nice, pleasant surprise. I had no idea he was in the movie.
Right, same here. Had no idea.
And I don't even know, like we mentioned, there's a bunch of other kind of like co-stars in this movie who, most of which I've never even seen before. But like the kid who plays Ronnie in the movie, absolutely amazing.
Let me see. Oh yeah, John Bass. He was in something else.
What was he in?
He basically plays the out of shape. So basically, the plot of this movie is, you have and again, it's I don't know how they managed to pull this off, but timing wise. So you basically have, you know, the Rock he's the lieutenant of Dwayne Johnson is the Lieutenant Mitch Buchanan of Tower 1 of the lifeguards on the beach
or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And this is during the time they're doing training, and they're gonna train, bring in some trainees who want to join the exclusive, you know, beach lifeguard crew, and they can only bring in, I think, 3 people.
It's usually one person every year, but this year they're bringing in 3 recruits.
They're bringing in 3 recruits. So one of them is Ron Bass's character Ronnie, who has been trying for like the last, I guess, 2-3 years. He's completely out of fucking shape.
Out of shape, but he's kind of like the lovable dummy.
He's got heart,
if you will.
He's got heart. Damn, and he's not really been. He's been in Newsroom, House of Lies, American Horror Story.
Episode,
but it's like an episode here and there. Yeah, he does great. And then there's another girl. I can't remember who the girl is they bring in, who obviously ends up becoming like a love interest of Zac Efron, but she doesn't. They don't really give her a whole lot of background. What was her?
No,
she was.
I don't remember. I don't
Summer?
remember what her name was.
That wasn't Summer. It was. I can't remember who she was. And then obviously the third one is Zac Efron, who you find out is, and this is what I'm like, I don't understand how they got. I don't know how they got the timing on this one. He's basically like a combination of Ryan Lochte and Michael Phelps, because he's a gold medal swimmer who went out partying and ended up the night before the team event and messed up. You know,
we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, we don't want to spoil that part.
Without spoiling what happened. And so his community service is to come to this beach and be a lifeguard. And so obviously he's a gold medal athlete. He's famous, and so he obviously he has a chip on his shoulder, doesn't believe he has to listen to anybody, and he thinks that he can swim really fast, so he doesn't give a shit about anything else, right? And so those are the trainees, and then you have The Rock, his number 2, which I believe that's Summer. No, that's not Summer. It's CJ. No. Stephanie, sorry.
It's Stephanie, yeah.
Yeah, played by
Ilfinish Hadera.
Yeah, she plays Stephanie, number 2, and then there's who was the other one?
One of the white chicks.
Yeah, Kelly Rourke was CJ. So that's CJ, and then there was there one more? No, that was it. So that's basically
I think that was it.
That's basically the crew there, and so you get the background of them, you know, them trying to get these trainees in, and Zac Efron, but then they also set up this this thing that somebody's bringing drugs onto the beach, trying to sell drugs,
and that's kind of like the main plot line, because we kind of see how serious the Baywatch team takes their jobs. It's not just about keeping people from drowning.
Right. But then
And
that goes back to the whole thing, and I think this is where I think they separated themselves from the TV show. And like, I'm pretty sure they probably did things like this on the TV show. But at the end of the day, you always ask yourself, but you're fucking lifeguards. You're not the police. And so that's the recurring theme throughout the show is there's actually a guy there's actually a police officer going, you're lifeguards. You're not.
And can I just say that police officer also gets a special mention because I don't know who that actor is, but he was also a highlight of the entire movie. Some of his little lines and his interactions with The Rock, just perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, it's Yahya Abdul Mateen II, and he plays Sergeant Ellerby. And like his timing and his just, you don't need to be doing this.
Oh, like, wait, I just realized I know who he is. He plays one of the big bad guys in The Get Down on Netflix.
Oh, he's gonna be Black Manta.
Oh,
and Aquaman.
Black Manta.
Yeah, and but he's great. Seeing him and The Rock go back and forth is great. Dwayne Johnson does a great job in this role in that there's times when he's being dead, like he's being actually serious. He takes his job serious as a lifeguard. But then there's also those Fast and the Furious moments where he's just gonna be the muscle head, and then there's
a complete dick.
Right, and then there's some times when he's just being a comedian. Like he does all three, and they fit really well. Priyanka, I don't want to like really mispronounce her name.
I think it's Priyanka Chopra.
Priyanka, yeah. She's basically, and at one point they even say this, she's basically, and this is not a spoiler, she's basically the villain in this film, and she's basically a female Bond villain.
And she even makes mention of it.
Right. And I don't mean that as like she's a Bond girl. I mean like take a male Bond villain and then make it a woman. Like that is what she is. And she does a really great job in this film. I mean, obviously she looks fantastic, but
absolutely
also just in the role she's playing, she's ruthless, she's cold, and she's definitely a woman you're not trying to fuck with. Or, you know, or she will kill you.
It was dope seeing a brown person in that role.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like this movie is. I thought it would be way more problematic, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, remember right before the movie they were showing kind of like a little poster, and I was like, "Damn, there ain't no black girls of color on this." Although the one woman, Stephanie, is probably of mixed race.
Yeah, I believe she is too. I'm trying to see if I can pull her
multiracial, but yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can pull her background.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't as problematic as I expected.
Yeah, I mean, like again,
there still wasn't a black woman in it.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. I like I said, this movie was very, very surprising to me. Like I just was not expecting this. And here's the thing, Zac Efron, and I totally get what you were saying about, you know, hey, if there was an anime he did wrong. When you get him somebody who he can play off of, he's actually really, really good. Like
that was the anchor of the movie. The interactions between The Rock and Zac Efron.
I was in the interaction between him and everybody else. Because he comes off as that douchebag. He comes off as that arrogant white douchebag who you're just like, oh my God, he thinks he's going to get the girl. He doesn't take care. Like, they go down the stereotypes. And honestly, this really, it doesn't go as far as 21 and 22 Jump Street does and making it a parody of those things. But it's along that same lines where it's just, you see the tropes, you see the things coming, and they do some things that kind of turn them on their head and change them around a little bit. And yeah, it's really, 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 really funny. Like, there are plenty of moments in here. Like, the opening of this film is literally The Rock, and this is how I knew where they were going with this film. It starts off very seriously. The Rock is, opening up the, Tower 1, and there's people out in the ocean. They're doing things, and there's one guy, and something's happening, and he hits his head, and you're just like, oh man, he's drowning. So The Rock sees, he runs out, and they do it all in slow motion, and they're doing all this stuff, and honestly, they're doing all this stuff, and I'm going, and I at that moment, I'm like, oh God, they're making this way too fucking serious. Then The Rock grabs dude, and he's walking out of the water, and they literally have the words for Baywatch like explode out of the water like a giant explosion. Like, you know how you see people walking in slow motion after something explodes? So Baywatch comes out of the water, and they're like dolphins, like jumping out of the water.
Yeah, I was like, well, they're going for it.
Like,
they're definitely going for it right here.
It was at that moment you realize it's like, oh, you took that lead up seriously, so you could show us how ridiculous it looked later on. Like the timing on some of the jokes, the timing on some of the things they do, is really great. I'll be honest. There are only two, and this is something, if you watch Neighbors and you saw, with Zac Efron in there, I like the first Neighbors. Didn't see the second.
Mm-hmm. Me neither.
There's a lot of dick jokes in the first Neighbors though. And
yeah, I mean, and that's kind of a thing with just like white comedies in general.
Right.
It's usually like hella penis.
Right. And so in this film, I expected the same thing. There was really only two penis jokes, but they're done really well. Like they're
so well.
They're really done really well.
All I'm gonna say, there are some scenes in this movie where I was just trying to compose myself because I was about to have the loud old black man laugh.
Right. Like it is done. They're done really well. The effects are actually pretty good. Again, yeah. I mean, this is just I just was not expecting this film to do what it did here. And
in movies like this, it's pretty commonplace for there to be certain jokes that kind of linger too long, or certain scenes that kind of linger. I didn't get any of that from this. I kind of felt like every joke was, especially the extended ones, were around just long enough to get what you needed from them, and then they moved right on to the next thing. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, they the jokes and even the plot of the movie is because sometimes that happens in comedies, like oh well the plot. Then what the plot makes it is a very simple plot. Somebody's bringing drugs in. They suspect,
right?
They already suspect where the drugs are coming from. They think that the police might be in on it. It's a straightforward thing, and so you have this group of lifeguards, and again, it sounds crazy. It's like, why would you lifeguards investigate these drugs? But The Rock at one point, Dwayne Johnson at one point explains why they would do this, and it's not even like that's not even like a comedy moment. It's like a legit serious moment. He's like, this is the Bay, like this is what we're doing. He even at one point they have a really good, because Zac Efron's character is so dismissive of what they do here. They have these serious moments where they actually explain why these lifeguards are important. And he's like, well, no, you just go out there and you just call the police. You just do this. You call the police and you do that. And at that point, The Rock and Dwayne Johnson's character, and then the other chick who plays, I think it was the Stephanie character. They were like, well, if you do that, then this person dies, and if you wait this long, this person dies. Like they went into how serious their job is, and that hey, listen, if we wait, people die. Right. And it actually made sense. It wasn't on some, oh, that's bullshit. It's like, oh no, that makes total sense. They would die if they didn't do that.
Yeah, there weren't. I mean, and yeah, the story, it was a little cliche, but they kind of put their own twist on it. But there weren't really any slow parts. There were no parts during the movie where I was looking at my watch like, when is this going to be over? Yeah, I had a good time watching it, man.
Yeah. There's some really great cameos in it, and and you can kind of see them coming. But yeah, man, overall, it's just a really fun, a really great movie, and I was shocked. Like I said, this is a movie I came with the lowest of bars, and I walked out going, oh my god, I like this movie. Like I really like this movie.
I liked it a lot actually.
And I would say if you're not a Baywatch fan, if you weren't interested in anything with dealing with Baywatch, it's fine. You don't have to be. Like I said, we're not Baywatch fans at all. This is not a movie that I was going to recommend. Nope. But as a comedy, it's probably one of the funniest comedies I've seen this year. And I'll be interested in seeing, because sometimes critics get really stuck up when it comes to comedies and grading comedies when it comes to reviewing them. I'll be interested in seeing what the score is, but I just can't see how it scores low because it's just it's really really good. It's funny, you know.
Absolutely.
It's a really
And I
well
mean,
done
like
film.
some of these jokes, like I don't know who really wrote these jokes, but like there's a running joke that goes throughout the whole movie that I won't really spoil, but just like the Rock has certain names for Zac Efron's character,
Right.
and it goes throughout the whole movie, and it never gets old. And at a
Never.
certain point, I kept waiting for him to make the joke again just to see what he would call Zac Efron this time. I thought that was hilarious. There were certain things that they would point out in certain jokes where it's like you're thinking it in your mind, and then somebody on screen says it, and it's like, damn, this is pretty funny, pretty damn funny.
Yeah. It's really well done. Like I said, it looks good. You'll enjoy yourself on it. Like I said, it's just. Hey, and look, I'll even say this. I know there are a lot of ladies out there, and maybe some guys, who are only going to go see that King Arthur movie because Charlie Hunnam was in it, and you wanted some eye candy. Well, if you just wanted man candy, well, you know, The Rock and Zac Efron take their shirt off a lot. So.
And Ronnie, whoever the guy.
Oh yeah, and Ronnie.
You know,
hey, listen,
if you're into that too.
Yeah, if you're not into the washboard abs, but you're more into the doughboy. You got, you know, Ronnie's got his shirt off a lot too. Oh, also shout out to the two. I don't see him in the. I can't pick him out of the IMDb, but the two guys that basically play the henchmen, they were.
Oh yes.
Again, they were quietly funny at some points too. It was just like, you guys are some fucking fools. But they were also like, it does a really good job. This film does a really good job, and everybody in the film does a really good job of balancing between when to be serious and when to have a joke. And
Amin Joseph and Jack Kessie.
Yeah, man. Like there's some
Frankie
moments with them, right? There's some moments with them that are just really good.
And the Captain Thorpe, what's his name? Rob Hubble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a damn fool too.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's really, really well done. I thought it was hilarious, and I think people really, really enjoy this film. So, out of 10, what would you give this one, man?
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. You know, it's not like the funniest comedy I've ever seen in my life, but it was enjoyable. So, it gets an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it too. Like I was very, very shocked. Like and maybe it's just because, like I said, my bar was so low coming in looking at this, but and I was not expecting to have as good times with it. Like Jax will tell you, I'm sitting there going, oh, come on. I was already leaning over, had the hoodie up. I was just like, oh, I can't live in here.
There's gonna be some bullshit.
There's gonna be some bullshit.
And it was not.
I'm not gonna lie, yo. Real talk. I gotta be honest here. I invited you because I didn't want to watch this shit by myself.
I know.
I didn't want it to be some trash and see it by myself.
I had to revel in that by yourself.
Right, you have to sit there and try to. Oh man, I guess, man. But no, it's really, really well done. Apparently, isn't Zac Efron his next role gonna be like he's playing like Ted Bundy or something like that?
Oh, is that so?
I think it is.
I don't know. Damn, I didn't know that.
Hold on.
I'd be curious. I want to see him actually playing something that kind of forces him to stretch his acting ability.
Yeah, he's going to play
extremely wicked, shockingly evil and vile. Yeah,
yeah, okay. He's going to play Ted Bundy. Yeah, I'll be interested in seeing it because here's the thing. I think he's probably a decent actor.
Yeah, he probably is, and I mean, I know he was in like High School Musical and stuff. A lot of stuff that I haven't really seen, so I can't really speak ill of him. Oh, there's a Neighbors 3 happening. Zombies Rising.
Probably not. Probably shouldn't do that one. Probably should leave that one alone, guys. Probably should leave it alone. But no, I mean this is, you know, he did some pretty good, and he's doing pretty good. Because here's the thing, it's kind of like with Batista as Drax, it gets to a point when you're not a comedian per se, but you have really, really great comedic timing that I go, I think you can act, and like you said, it'd be really nice to see him in something that isn't a comedy, and I'm pretty sure he's done something that isn't, but it's nothing I wanted to see. But it's like I remember watching the last Riddick movie they did, and Batista's in that, and it's not a large role, and I enjoyed the movie for what it was because it's just, you know, it's the Pitch Black series, but even in there, it's like you looked at Batista, you're like, oh wait, dude, you might actually be able to like legit act. Like,
Yeah, he's got that new movie that was at Sundance or Cannes or something
oh,
this
really?
year. Um, and that people were kind of ranting and raving about.
Yeah. Like, again, sometimes you gotta see. You gotta give a person a chance and see what's going on and see. Like, this isn't like to me.
Cat,
Zac Efron, what he's doing here is not like what's his name, Channing Tatum when you put him in like 21 Jump Street or something like that, where he's like, oh, well, you just put him in comedy is fine. Like in 21 and 22 Jump Street, Channing Tatum's not really acting, more or less just being himself.
yeah, pretty much.
Right, but it's not acting. In this movie, you can actually see Zac Efron, like, yeah, he's being a fool, but there's also times when he's legit acting too. And,
yeah, for sure. I mean,
and it's not. I mean, not
strangely enough, they actually showed his character grow
right
over the course of the movie, which was who expected character development and
fucking Baywatch
in a Baywatch comedy movie.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he
did that.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I guess the only negative I would have had is at one point they suggest there might be something going on between Mitch, The Rock's character, and Stephanie. But they
did not explore it at all. In fact, that's my one issue.
Yeah.
It's related to that, but I'll let you finish your thought.
Yeah, that was it because there's a moment where something happens and you're like, wait, and you can see there's supposed to be something there. So I'm wondering if they cut it out. I'm wondering if it was in the film and they cut it out just for timing wise. But that's the thing that stuck out to me. It was like there's just small moments like that where you're just like, feels like you guys were trying to go somewhere with that, but you kind of just drop it and don't touch it.
Yeah, and my complaint was I kind of felt like Stephanie, her character kind of disappeared in the maybe last 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
and she didn't really become as important to the plot as some of the other characters on the team, which kind of sucked because number one, she's beautiful, and number two, I think she's a pretty good actress.
Well, it
was a little disappointing to see her kind of like be relegated to the background behind everyone else.
Well, that and she's basically Mitch's number two, and so that's why it was kind of weird. I don't know. I guess, like I said, I feel like they probably had more for her, but they cut it out because it feels like there was more for her, you know. Because I feel like there were supposed to be some more scenes with her and The Rock, and they didn't put it. They had to cut them out because same here. Like that was the thing that stood out to me the most. I was like, I feel like everybody's getting their time to shine, but she doesn't really, and that kind of sucks. So
yep, maybe Baywatch too, because there probably will be a sequel.
Yeah,
it'll probably be garbage, but
yeah, comedy sequels whenever they get a surprise hit. Comedy sequels are usually you know what?
Except 22 Jump Street was funny to me.
And I was just about to say that. I was like, the way you can do a Baywatch 2 with this is if you keep doing what they did. You do what they did with 22 Jump Street, which is you just keep going with the parody. Like you can have a serious moment.
Maybe take it to a different location. Maybe they're in a foreign country or at a foreign beach, or maybe they're in Australia or someplace different. I don't know. Because that's what they did with 22 Jump Street. They took them to college instead of high school.
Yeah, but if you do that, then you got to make a joke about we're going to do the same movie.
Right.
Like, that's how 22 Jump Street worked. Because they're like we're going to do the same thing we did the first movie.
They did not care, son. I might go watch that tonight because that's just hilarious.
But that's how you got to do it. That's the only reason why. That's the only way that they broke the comedy sequel curse. They were like, we're going to do the same shit we did the first time. The exact same thing. What do we feel like doing? No, the same thing. That's how you do it.
Damn thing.
Oh man.
We'll see. But I hope it does well. I hope it doesn't matter if critics like it because critics usually have sticks.
I mean, the only thing coming out this weekend, unless you're going to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2 again, is that Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and those reviews are not looking good right now. So yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. That franchise started off so strong.
It did.
Started off so strong.
But also, fuck Johnny Depp.
Yeah, and then there's that. So at this point, you got to get somebody else to play Captain Jack Sparrow because, fuck Johnny Depp. So, all right, folks. Thank you guys very much for listening. Again, you can get all these reviews, all of our reviews on a separate feed, movie trailer reviews, or you can get everything on the one feed on mtrnetwork.net. Again, I made this mention before, but we now have mtrnetwork.com. I'm not changing any links, but if you decide to go to the .com, it'll redirect you to the main site. Check out the main site because we got plenty of stuff over there. We have the politics of the entertaining check. We got sports with unanimous decision. We have the new show that focuses on black women and their businesses, Secret Sauce. We have a new episode of that coming out hopefully next week. And there's a premium network. We have a bunch of stuff coming out on premium. There's a new Hell No Cuba coming out this week. And then we're going to be talking about, we also have a Playing Dead talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale game, episode 1 of that. So plenty of stuff to come out and check out. Just go to mtrnetwork.net. Also, stay tuned. There will be a store coming with new merchandise inserts. It's coming soon, so just go over there and check it out. mtrnetwork.net. All right, folks. Thank you guys very much for listening. Until next time, we are out of here. Peace.